Hello everyone, it's Casey here, and we're going to discuss the historical contributors to the field of psychology. Here's our standard, and we're going to begin with Socrates. Primarily what we need to know about Socrates is that he coined the phrase of knowing thyself, which is associated with introspection, looking within oneself. When we look at the Middle Ages and the contributions of various Europeans during the Middle Ages, there were certain tests that were performed in order to determine the psychological state of various persons that lived in the Middle Ages, and certain tests were used to determine whether these individuals were possessed, such as the water float tests. During the birth of modern science between the 1500s and 1700s, during the Great Scientific Revolution, Copernicus challenged the view that the sun revolved around the earth, but rather the opposite. And then also during this time, Isaac Newton formulated the laws of gravity and motion, and John Locke theorized that knowledge isn't inborn, but it is also learned from experience. During the 1800s, psychologists argued that ideas about human behavior and mental processes should be supported by evidence. And then by 1879, this is the beginning of psychology as a laboratory science. So now we're going to look at a couple perspectives. Here's Wilhelm Wundt and structuralism. And here are the categories of structuralism. Here's William James and functionalism. And here's what the functionalists were concerned with. And here is the various aspects of structuralism and functionalism and what makes them different. Here's John B. Watson. John B. Watson believed that it was unscientific to study consciousness, especially the consciousness of animals. He basically stated that this was a private event and is only known to the individual, which means that from a scientific perspective, we can't observe this private event. He focused on behaviorism. So this is the psychological psychological scientific study of observable behavior. B.F. Skinner, and most of us as educators are familiar with B.F. Skinner, and he developed the concept of reinforcement. This is basically rewards for performing an action. The Gestalt School of Psychology. This is Max Wertheimer, Kurt Koffka, and Wolfgang Kohler. They focus on the Gestalt psychology, which is the idea that perceptions are more than sums of their parts. And finally, Sigmund Freud. He focused on psychoanalysis. He emphasized the importance of unconscious motives and internal conflicts in determining human behavior. So again, guys, this was just a brief overview of various contributors that we will discuss more in depth. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to serving you in this course.